Hey there y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, then welcome back, and if you are new, welcome aboard. So this week I am going to be going with a request that I got a couple of weeks ago to do a history and fun facts video about the Carousel of Progress. Sorry, I just realized that I sound really hoarse. Apparently I'm getting a cold. Didn't know I was until just now, but yeah, that's great. So sorry if my voice sounds really annoying. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be doing a Carousel of Progress video, the history and fun facts of that. I'm going to start off with what the Carousel of Progress actually is. If you've never seen it, it is not the carousel behind the castle. It is a moving theater show that kind of talks about the history of electricity. And I say moving, it's not really fast, so it is fully ADA accessible. If you want to stay in your chair, that's perfectly fine. You can totally do that. But you do, you go in and you sit in a theater, and then at some point it's going to rotate, and you're going to see these 4 different acts that travel kind of through the history of electricity. So that's what the Carousel of Progress is. Now we'll talk about like how it came to be. So everyone pretty much knows that the Carousel of Progress started at the 1964-65 World's Fair in New York. GE, General Electric, actually approached Walt Disney and asked him to make an attraction to go with their pavilion, and they wanted it to be in there and kind of talk about the progress that electricity had made up until that point, and kind of going forward. So that original pavilion was called Progress Land, and it started at the early 1900s, turn of the 20th century, and it went forward into the 21st century, kind of a futuristic version of the 21st century, talking about how electricity started, where it was going, and how it was going to end up. And so that was what it started out as. And then after the World's Fair, Walt wanted it to go to Disneyland, and he wanted it to go ideally in a section of the park that he was going to call Edison Square, but that obviously never actually came to fruition. So it was in the park as it was, and it got the name Carousel of Progress, and they put it in Disneyland in 1967. So where it was in Disneyland, it was set up and it had multiple floors, just like it did actually at the World's Fair. It was set up so that it was going to be a multi-floor theater, and then you would go in and you would see the show on the bottom level, and then you could go up and get more information and kind of go through some exhibits and that kind of thing. And actually one of the exhibits on the upper floors was the model of Epcot that you can see on the Tomorrowland Transit Authority, the People Mover at Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. So the Carousel of Progress, once it moved to Disneyland in July of '67, it stayed there until '73, and then at that point they did close it down. And America Sings stayed there until '88, but the Carousel of Progress was not there. So after it closed in '73, then it moved to Disney World in '75, and they actually took away the Sherman Brothers theme song, There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. They took away that, and they gave it a new theme song that was, can I help you? It's called The Best Time of Your Life, and obviously that did not go over so well with Carousel of Progress aficionados, because, did you like it too? They brought back Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. They brought that back in the early 90s, 94 I think is when they brought that back and kind of restored the Carousel of Progress to its original glory, and everyone was pretty happy, and obviously because that theme song has stayed until today. So that's pretty much the history of the Carousel of Progress. It hasn't really changed that much. We lost the theme song and we moved parks, but other than that, it's pretty much stayed the same. But a couple of fun facts about the ride. One of the things that has changed a little bit, the dog, Rover, he has had a couple of different names throughout the history of Carousel of Progress. He's been Rover, he's been Buster, he's been Queenie, he's been Sport. At some points in its history, he was multiple of those in the show, like it was like different dogs in the show, but now he's just Rover, and he's Rover throughout the entire show, and we love Rover, and we don't want Rover to go anywhere. So that was one little interesting fact. And the next section is, the next fun facts are kind of all one thing. It's like people that you didn't know were in the Carousel of Progress. So just, that's the main fun thing that you can find at the Carousel of Progress is, that's who that voice is. Any fans of the Jetsons, the old 60s futuristic TV show? Janet Waldo, who was Judy Jetson, is actually the grandma in the Christmas scene at the very end of the Carousel of Progress. So if you listen there, you can kind of tell that that's who that is. Since it is the holiday season, I'm sure a lot of people are watching The Christmas Story or have seen it before. Gene Shepard, who wrote A Christmas Story and is the narrator of that movie, is also the father and like the narrator of the Carousel of Progress. So if you listen, you can kind of tell that John's, the dad is actually Gene Shepard's voice, and that's really a fun connection. The voice that most people are going to recognize is the voice of the daughter, and that is voiced by Debbie Derryberry. I think that's how you say her name. I've only ever seen it written, now that I think about it. But she plays she's done a lot of animated character voices, but she's most well known for Jimmy Neutron. So any early 2000s children, 90s kids, we definitely know Jimmy Neutron. And next time you listen to the daughter's voice, you can probably pick out that it's Jimmy talking. So that is the history and fun facts of Carousel of Progress. Like I said, it hasn't really changed all that much, so there wasn't too much to say, so just a quick little video here. This is actually the third time I have filmed this. We're having some technical difficulties. You just always a good time with technology. So thank you once again for the suggestion. If anyone else has any suggestions, you know, history videos or any other kinds of videos that you'd like to see, let me know those down below, and make sure you're clicking that little red button. Which side's it on? Click that little red button and become part of the Jungle Crew. I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.